Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me for a 1-hour Hatha Yin Fusion class. My name is Tamara Maxim and I'm offering these classes free through Facebook Live and also uploaded to my YouTube channel. So if you'd like to subscribe, you can look me up under Tamara Maxim. Also, if you like music for your yoga classes or really for any occasion, I have lots of beautiful playlists on my Spotify account, so you can find me on Spotify under Tamara YVR, and YVR is the airport code for Vancouver, which is the area where I live. So this practice will be centered around the idea of softening, particularly into the hips. And in yoga, we think of the hips as the seat of our emotions, and there are lots of different ways to release the hips, so I'll try to access as many of those places as I can through this practice, and hopefully you can soften and release and maybe let go of anything that you've been holding on to or gripping and putting down into the storage bin of our hips. We'll start tonight in a child pose. So you can sit maybe towards the back of your mat, take your knees wide or together, let your hips come down to your heels, extend your arms forward to start, forehead down. And this practice will be a combination of yin postures, some held for longer periods of time than others, a little bit of action in the middle, and then coming back to some yin postures at the end. So in your child pose, start to bring awareness to your breath and see if you can access the area of your hips with your breath. So as you breathe in, draw the breath down into the sacral region, all around your outer hips, inner thighs. As you exhale, see if you can soften the hips down toward the heels just a little bit more, almost as if there's a curling of the tailbone under. Let your forehead relax and maybe rock your heavy forehead side to side. Knead out any tension that might be created in the space between your eyes or above your brow. And then return to a place of rest with your forehead in the center and your arms extended. Take a big breath in and walk your fingertips forward. Stretch the arm bones to straight, and then allow the shoulders to relax down. Take another inhale breath. Allow the fingertips to reach forward. Arm bones extend straight, and then allow the arm bones to relax down. Your next inhale breath, walk your hands over to the right side of your mat, maybe even all the way off your mat. You can soften your right elbow, but maybe extend the left arm a little bit more. Pull the hips back and down. The outer left hip will try to pop up. See if you can relax it back toward your left heel. Forehead between your arms, and maybe your left hand on top of your right hand. Take a few more deep breaths here. We'll do the same thing going over to the other side. So walk your hands all the way over to the left. You can soften your left elbow, but let the right arm extend more. Maybe your right hand comes on top of the left as your forehead comes between your arms. And the outer right hip will try to pop up. See if you can soften it down towards your right heel, creating a beautiful side body stretch into the right rib cage, the very top of your hip. And slowly start to bring yourself back through center. Take one more breath with your fingertips extended. Let the arm bones relax. And then slide your hands beside your body, palms facing up. And let the shoulders drop over top of the thighs. Let the hips relax back and down. And from this place, bring your awareness into your mind's eye. And allow there to appear an intention for this practice. And maybe it's around the idea of softening, of releasing, letting go, which is what our focus will be. primarily through the postures that we do, but maybe there's something else that you're hoping to work through both on your mat and off your mat. And as well as a personal intention, I encourage you to set a collective intention, something for the greater good. A lot going on in the world right now that needs our attention and needs our positive healing energy. So maybe you'd like to create an intention for that collective, as well as maybe to dedicate your practice to somewhere or something. And we'll begin here by creating one beautiful sound of Om. And the sound of Om in Child Pose is really nice because it reverberates all around the foundation of your posture, and you can really feel it through the back body as well. So I'll stay upright so you can hear me, but you stay in Child Pose. Take a deep breath in through your nose. A full breath out your mouth. Inhale for Om. Take another full breath in here, fill up your back body. And as you exhale, sigh out your mouth, let your shoulders soften. And now start to slide your hands forward toward the top of your mat and pick your hips up until they're over top of your knees. Tuck your toes. Maybe walk your knees back further toward the end of your mat. Lower your forearms down to the mat. Press your hands together like you're clapping, extending your arms as far forward as you can, starting to melt the heart down. Hips are lifting high. Press the hips back and up and start to melt the heart. You can stay here. Forehead can come down. Maybe use a block. This is the beginning of Anahatasana. And then from here, if you like more, bend your elbows, bring your thumbs to the nape of your neck, and let your forehead relax. As you feel the hips pulling back and up on your inhale, making sure they stay over top of your knees, allow the exhale to soften and melt the heart down as the thumbs move toward the nape of the neck. Take 5 more deep breaths here, and if you like, slide your elbows even more forward, and maybe your chin can even come forward. Last few deep breaths. Every inhalation, see if you can pull your hips further back away from your elbows. And every exhalation, can you melt your heart just a little bit closer toward the ground? Last deep inhale here. And a full exhale. Slowly transition through Child Pose again. Fingertips extending. And then pull yourself up into a tabletop. Take your right leg out to the right. Keep your left palm where it is. And your inhale breath, sweep your right arm up toward the sky. Look up. Pull the right hip back and down. And as you exhale, hover that right arm underneath your left arm. You'll need to bend your left elbow just so the shoulder barely touches. Press into the left hand again. Straighten your arm. Reach your right arm up. Maybe open it up. Keep pulling your right hip back and down as you glide underneath the left arm. Bend your elbow, hover the shoulder. One more time like that. Inhale, reach up, maybe twist back. And as you exhale, glide underneath your left arm until you can come all the way down onto your right shoulder. And you may need to use a block under the side of your head or your shoulder. You can keep your left fingertips tented, maybe bend your elbow more. Or extend your left palm forward, palm down, outer left shoulder pulling down. Root the outer edge of your right foot and pull the right hip back and down. Take your gaze toward the left. Take a deep, full inhale and a long exhale. One more inhale. Long exhale, and you can stay like this, or maybe start to bring the left hand behind your lower back. Maybe you can find a little bind, open up that top shoulder, keep pulling the right hip back and down. 2 more breaths. Slowly circle that left arm around, left palm down, sweep your right arm up. Big open stretch, open the chest, keep pulling the right hip back. And as you exhale, let the right palm down, right knee down. Take a couple of cat and cow. Inhale, tailbone up, tummy down, chest up. Exhale, round the spine, tend your fingertips. Pull your hips back toward your heels. Look to your belly. Inhale, come back through cow, tailbone lifts, tummy down, chest up. Toes are tucked. Exhale, round the spine. Pull back until your fingertips tense. Come back through center, and this time we'll extend the left leg out to the left. Try to keep your left heel and left hip in the same line so the leg is straight out to the side. Keep your right palm where it is. Inhale, sweep your left arm up to the sky. Big open stretch. Bend your right elbow as you hover your left arm underneath your right arm. Maybe prepare for the hold by having a block close by. Lift up, open up. Exhale, glide underneath. Just a hover. One more time. Inhale, open it up. Big stretch. Exhale, slide your left arm underneath your right arm. Come all the way down to the shoulder. Feel free to use a block if you need. You can keep your right fingertips tented for support or extend your right palm forward and keep pulling your outer left hip back and down. So secure the outer edge of your left foot. And get that nice opening through the left hip and through the right shoulder. Few deep breaths here. You're welcome to stay, or maybe release that right hand, spiral it back behind you. Maybe you can hook it to the top of your left thigh as you turn your gaze up to the right. And keep your gaze to the side if that's better for you, or even down. Couple more deep breaths here. And slowly we'll come out of the pose. As you're ready, right hand comes down. Sweep your left arm all the way up. Big open stretch. And then both hands to the mat, both knees to the mat. Couple more times, cat and cow. Inhale for your tailbone up, tummy down, chest up. As you exhale, round the spine. Feel free to tent the fingers. One more time. Inhale, tailbone up, tummy down, chest up. Exhale, round the spine, tent the fingers. Walk your hands a little bit more forward than they were, so they're past the line of your shoulders. Spread your fingers wide, tuck your toes. On your inhale breath, slowly start to lift the hips back and up. Separate your feet hip distance apart. Pull the hips toward where the ceiling meets the wall behind you, as if you could imprint your hips there. Pedal out your heels a few times. Working into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog, nice and slow. Create space around your shoulders, drawing the eye of your elbows more forward. Spreading into your fingertips. Come back to downward dog. Bend your knees a lot and place your left ankle on top of your right thigh, finding a pigeon pose in the legs, holding downward dog 3 breaths. Getting deeper into that left hip. Try the other side. Bend your knees a lot. Place your right ankle over your left thigh. Pull the hips back and up. Getting a stretch into your outer right hip. One more breath. Release. Come down onto your knees a little. Press back through child poses for a rest. And coming back through down tabletop. Slide your right knee forward. Roll to the outer edge of your right foot and bring your left knee behind you for a deer pose, which is a variation of pigeon. Tend your fingertips. Take a big breath in And as you exhale, slowly lower down. You can lay over top of your right thigh. Palms are flat. Arms are parallel with each other like a number 11. You might want to make a little pillow with your hands if you want, forehead down. If you need to, you can hold yourself up here, even placing a block underneath your forehead. A few deep breaths here, very soft, opening into the right hip. And you're welcome to stay here, continue to breathe, or start to slide your left leg back behind you, tuck your toes, slide your left knee further back, coming into a pigeon. Keeping your right knee bent a lot with your right heel more toward the left hip point. So your shin is not parallel to the front edge of your mat. Nice and easy here. And untuck your back toes, a few more breaths, either in deer pose or pigeon. Sending a lot of energy through the breath into the hip, right hip joint, hip crease, outer hips, your glutes. Last deep breath. And you'll slide back into deer pose if you went to pigeon. Press into your hands, rock yourself up. Extend your left leg back behind you. Extend your right leg back behind you. And then we'll go to the other side. Left knee comes forward, roll to the outer left hip, right knee comes behind, you lay yourself down. Start with your arms parallel like a number 11. See how that feels, maybe a block under your forehead or forehead down. Taking stock of what's happening here, if this feels like a lot for you, a lot of tightness and tension in the hips, then just stay, don't go any further. We're going for a softening here, not to create more tension. But if it's available for you, start to extend your right leg back behind you, tuck your toes, slide your right knee more back, and keep your left knee generously bent with your left heel going towards your right hip point. So you're not bringing your shin too far forward. Feel free to lower your forehead if it's accessible for you. Take a few more deep breaths here. And keeping in mind how much we store and hold in the space of our hips in our sacral region. And using your breath to release and soften. If you find your mind wandering in these times of stillness, come back to your own intention. Last deep inhale. And full exhale. If you've been in pigeon, just rock a little bit to your left hip. Come back through deer pose. Press into the hands. Rock up onto your left knee. Extend your right leg back behind you. Left leg back behind you. And then we'll press back up again, downward dog. Take a very slow vinyasa. Vinyasa is a series of intentional movements. So not a lot of speed here, super slow motion with the breath. You can lower your knees if you need. On your inhale, breath come forward into a plank position. Knees can be down. Take another breath in here. Draw the belly in as you exhale. Inhale, come forward just a little bit more with the shoulders. And as you exhale, all the way down onto the belly. Take your fingertips out wide off of your mat. I love this variation of cobra, exalted cobra. Tip your elbows up toward the ceiling. If you'd rather take cobra, you can. On your inhale breath, peel your head and chest up off the mat. Lengthen the front body. Try to press the hips right down into the earth. As you exhale, take your right shoulder down to the mat. Look over your left elbow. Inhale, come all the way back up. Lift your heart to the sky. Hips press down into the earth. Exhale, left shoulder down. Look over your right elbow. Inhale, come back through center again. Shoulders back, chest lifts. Exhale to lower all the way down. And just for comparison, one Bhujangasana, one cobra. Hands beside your chest. Lift your heart. Exhale to lower. Tuck your toes, push yourself back through child pose, extended child pose with the toes tucked. And all the way back and up again. Downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in and a long breath out. And very similar to that pigeon shape, lift your right leg up, bend your knee and open up your hip. It has that same kind of idea as that top knee bending, bottom leg is straight. Big breath in, a big breath out. And let's switch sides. Lower the right foot down, lift your left leg up, bend your knee, create that same type of shape as pigeon, lifting your left knee a little higher, dropping the foot toward the right side. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. Come back through center. Bend your knees a lot. Look toward your hands and then come high in the toes and take as many steps as you can toward the front of your mat. Super slow walk forward. When you get there, keep your feet hip distance, palms to the shins or fingertips in front of your toes. Stretch your chest, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, release, soften your knees. Again, inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Nice long spine. Exhale, soften and release. Now press down into your feet. Take a slow roll to standing, curling your tailbone towards your heels as you rise up. Reach your arms to the sky. Find a little arch back if you like. Hands to heart center, Samastitihi. And just take a moment here. Hands can release, finding Tadasana. Take a full deep breath in through your nose. And a big sigh out your mouth. We'll do some slow movements through Surya C, Surya Namaskar C. Inhale, arch back. I really love the sun salutation. Very slow opening. Exhale, fold. Really good for the hips too. Inhale, lengthen, flat back. As you exhale, plant your palms down. Step your right foot back. Lower your right knee down and try to slide it back further than your hip. Inhale, reach your arms to the sky, Anjaneyasana. Flip your right palm up to the sky. Wrap your left fingertips around. Take an inhale here. Exhale, hinge up and over to the left side. You're pulling the right hip forward and down. You feel that stretch into your hip flexor. Pull your outer left hip back. Bring a lot of awareness into the hips as you soften forward and down. Take another inhale. Open your chest. Exhale to the left. Inhale, release both hands up. Maybe palms touch as you arch back. And as you exhale, bring both of your hands, tent your fingertips down to the mat, either side of your front foot. Take an inhale, lengthen as you push the right hip forward. And as you exhale, pull the hips back, straightening your front leg, finding Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits pose. Let's do that a couple times. Inhale, come forward. Press the right hip forward and down. And as you exhale, hinge back, straighten that front leg. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Beautiful, plant your left foot down, plant your hands, step back, downward dog. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. Inhale your right leg up to the sky. Step your right foot forward inside of your right thumb. Stay high on your back toes as you inhale. Reach your right arm up and open up your heart. Take a full deep inhale and a long exhale. Bring both hands down to the mat. Look forward. Same as we did with our knee lowered. And this time as you exhale, pull the front leg straight, finding pyramid pose, Parsvottanasana. You can raise your right toes up if you like as you pull your right hip back. Stay high on your back toes and let's do it again. Inhale, come forward, lunge. Left hip down this time. Exhale, Parsvottanasana, any variation. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, pull it back. Inhale, come forward, look forward, and step your left foot to meet your right. Hip distance with the feet. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, full fold. Inhale to rise, either roll up or stand up. Hands come together, palms touch, maybe arch back. Hands to your heart center. Let's do it again. Inhale, reach up, arch back. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway to lengthen. And this time plant your palms, step your left foot back, lower your left knee down, and try to slide it as far back as you can. Tent up onto your fingertips, pulling your right hip back, left hip pressing forward and down. Take an inhale, lengthen here. As you exhale, pull your right leg to straight. Pull the toes toward you as you press your right heel forward and down. Couple more times. Inhale, come forward, lengthen the chest up, press your left hip toward the mat. As you exhale, front leg straight, Ardha Hanumanasana, flossing into the hips here, getting a lot of softness and opening. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, come back into the lunge, lift your back knee up. Step back, downward dog. Take a deep inhale and a long exhale. And actually, let's come back there because I forgot that I meant to do this. Let's reach the arms up to the sky. This is the best part. Flip your left palm up. Hinge up and over to the right side. I always forget some little thing in the yoga sequence, but it's never too late to come back to it. Pull your outer right hip back, left thigh forward. Some of you were probably already doing it. So good for you. It's hard when you don't get those cues in a yoga class, when you realize you've missed something. So I'm reading your minds. Beautiful. Let's come back up. Hands down. Now we can step back, downward dog. Look forward. Lift your left leg up. Step it through. Stay high on your fingertips. Take an inhale breath. Lift your left arm up to the sky this time. Pull your left hip back and down. Rock your right heel forward. Take a big inhale here. Stay for your exhale. Bring both hands down to the mat. Tent your fingertips. Rock forward high on those back toes. Lift your chest forward and up. As you exhale, straighten that front leg. You're welcome to lift your toes. Parsvottanasana. Inhale, come forward, lift your chest. Exhale into the hips. Last time, inhale, forward. Exhale into the hips. Come forward, look forward, lift that back leg, step through to the front of your mat. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhale to rise, press down through the feet. Press the hips forward, maybe arch back. Stand tall, hands to heart center, Samastitihi. Bring your hands onto your hips and you can step your big toes together to touch. So we'll have a couple of options here, working through variations of tree pose. For the first set, we'll try tree pose, and then you can see if you want to open it up into a half lotus pose or maybe a standing pigeon pose. So standing tall on your right foot, lift your left knee up, open it up to the left, keep your foot active, and place your left foot inside of your right thigh, so either above the knee or below the knee, or you may even need to keep it down, toes on the mat. Keep your chest open. Wherever you decide to put your foot, press the foot and leg together. Hands come to the heart and find your focus, your drishti. You can already feel that this is a hip opening posture. Pressing the hips forward, lifting your chest. Open up your arms. Take a few deep breaths here. Keep pressing the hip points forward and opening the left knee more to the left. Almost as if you want to draw the back of your knee toward the back left corner of your mat. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Slowly bring your hands back through center, lift your knee up and step it down. Just notice the difference between the two sides. We'll try the other side. Bring your right knee up, open it up. Place your right foot inside of your left thigh, either above the knee, below the knee, or maybe toes to the mat. Hands can come to your heart when you're ready. Press your foot and leg together and try to draw the back of your knee toward the back right corner of your mat. Keep the hip points pressing forward. You should feel this into the inner right thigh. Maybe open up your branches. Bring your focus on one point. Beautiful. Coming back through center. Lower down and just take a moment here. Wiggle out your feet a little bit, and we'll take a triangle pose in the middle, which is also a hip opener. So keeping your feet at the top of the mat, take a big step back with your left leg. Line up your front heel and your back arch. It's not a really long stance, not as long as warrior two. Keep your right leg straight. On your inhale breath, reach forward and then pivot the arms. And again, you feel that same opening in the hip, so you'll pull your right hip back, inner left thigh rolling open. This time you can turn your chest open and maybe look up toward your top hand. A full deep inhale here. And a long exhale. A few more deep breaths here. If it's too much for your neck, you can turn down. And rise back up, and we'll open it up into warrior two to release the hips a little bit. So lengthen through your arms, bend your front knee a lot. On your inhale breath, lengthen, reach up. Exhale, bend into it. A couple more times. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend into it. One more time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend into it. Open up. Outer right hip tucking under, inner left thigh open. Deep breath in and a long breath out. Straighten your front leg, hands to your hips, heel toe your front foot in. Turn your hips forward as you step forward. And again, just notice the difference in your hips. Now we'll step your left, actually no, let's do the other side of tree pose. Then we'll do the right leg back. So here we go. No, let's step the right foot back. Let's do it. Triangle pose. Getting ahead of myself here. Opening up into triangle pose. On your inhale breath, left leg is straight. Start to hinge forward, front heel to back arch alignment, and pivot the arms. Open up the chest. You can look up towards your top hand if that's okay for your neck, or look down. Tuck your outer left hip under, inner right thigh rolls open. Keep the chest open. You always look down if it's too much for your neck to look up. Keep tucking the outer left hip underneath you, inner right thigh rolling open. Tailbone curling towards your back heel. And stand yourself back up, and now lengthen your stance for warrior two. Keeping that same alignment, front heel to back arch. On your inhale breath, extend through your fingertips. Bend a little deeper. And let's start to move in and out of triangle. Inhale, reach your arms up, palms touch. Exhale, bend into triangle, or Virabhadrasana 2, warrior 2. Triangle shape, Trikonasana. Exhale, bend into it. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. And just holding the shape for a couple of breaths. Outer left hip tucking under. Inner right thigh rolling open. And straightening that front leg. Hands on your hips. Heel toe your front foot in a little bit. Turn forward. Step forward. Now take a moment, just notice how you feel on both sides. And we're going to add in a little deeper hip opener into this variation of tree pose. So you're welcome to stay in tree pose, do it again on the other side. Otherwise, we're going to stand onto our right foot first. Lift the left knee up, and you're welcome to take this into tree, like I said. Or another variation is to cross your flexed left ankle over top of your right thigh. And stand up nice and tall here. Try to take a back bend out of it. So press your hips forward. Keep your left foot flexed. Press your knee back again to the back left corner of your mat. And maybe start to sit down, finding Ardha Utkatasana, half chair. So it's a standing pigeon. You feel the hips pulling back, chest lifting toward the thumbs. Of course, in some yoga practices that I teach, this comes into a hand balancing, but just for today, we're focusing on softening the hips. So see if you can soften more into the hips. And you're welcome to add on to this if you like to go into more power-like postures. Beautiful. Stand back up. Give it a little shake. Nice work. We'll try the other side. So this time standing onto your left foot. Right knee comes up. Again, you can stay in your tree pose if you like. Or cross your flexed right ankle over your thigh. And instead of sticking the bum back, try to press the hips forward. So taking the back bend out of it. Stay here if you like, standing up nice and tall. Or start to hinge the hips back. And feel that opening into the right hip. Try to keep your heart lifting. Lots of variations here of pigeon today. Kapotasana, sitting back, heart lifting, hip opening and softening. Bring your breath into the hips. Beautiful. Slowly stand up. Puppy's dreaming. Puppy's dreaming about pigeons. Taking the inhale breath, reach your arms to the sky. And stay standing, hands to heart center. We'll take a very slow vinyasa. This time making our way down onto our seat. On your inhale breath, arch back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen halfway. As you exhale, plant your palms, step back, downward dog. On your inhale, lower your knees if you need. Lower your chest down. Bring your arms beside you. Interlace your hands behind your lower back. Press the tops of your feet down for a back bend here, Ardha Shalabhasana. Lift your chest. Exhale to lower. Switch your grip. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale to lower. Plant your palms underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes, push back to that extended child pose. Coming up to tabletop. Sit back onto your hips. Extend your legs out in front of you. And we'll release through the back of the hamstrings, of course, integral part of the connection into the hips. Roll the seat from side to side. Come right onto your center sitting bones. Take an inhale breath. Reach your arms to the sky. As you exhale, fold forward over your thighs. Take an inhale to lengthen. Pull the chest forward. It doesn't really matter how deep you go, but back of your legs are stretching by keeping the feet active and heart releasing forward. Five deep breaths here. And always soften your knees if you need. Slowly start to roll yourself up. Another variation here of pigeon pose. Bring your right knee in toward your chest. Pick up your right shin bone and carefully place it over top of your left thigh. And sometimes it can feel a little funny. It's just the way the ankle will press down into the thigh. So adjust as needed. And you're welcome to stay here. You might be feeling this a lot into your right hip. And in fact, it might be too uncomfortable. Maybe you can place your right foot inside of your left thigh. But if you can, get it on top. Lean back into your fingertips. Open your chest if you can. And maybe start to bend your left knee, seated pigeon pose. The right knee will press to the top right corner of your mat and heart is lifting, and you can tent right up onto your fingertips and pull your chest up. Try to relax your shoulders. If you want, you can maybe pull the left knee side to side and see if you can get into a place where you feel it a little bit more. And something that might happen for people that are more open is your left foot goes more toward the right side. And maybe you can start to stack your shin bones on top of each other, coming into a double pigeon. Take a few deep breaths here. Concentrate on opening into the right hip, whichever variation you've taken. Keeping the heart open, heart lifting. Allowing your hips to get softer and softer. Maybe over time, both shin bones stacked right on top of each other. And if you're in the double pigeon variation, lean back into your hands enough that you can bring your left foot back to the mat. Release your right foot from on top, and then windshield wiper your knees side to side. Beautiful. Release your legs. Bring your left knee in toward your chest and stay here, Janu Shirshasana shape with the left foot inside, or gently place your left shin on top of your right thigh. Just be careful, it might be a bit of a intense feeling at first, so get used to it. Fingertips back behind you, pointed to the end of your mat. Lift your heart, stay here, or start to walk your right heel in, maybe shift your hips towards your heel as you press your chest forward and up, getting closer and closer to the left shin. And as we did before, maybe you rock a little bit side to side and just find if there's a place where it's a little more softening, a little more releasing into the left hip. You're welcome to stay if you have more openness. Heel toe your right foot over to the left side of your mat. Let your shins become parallel with each other. Or fire love pose or double pigeon. Press your chest forward and up. Breathe into your hips. Use the breath to help you soften. And slowly lean back into the hands if you're in a double pigeon. Release your top foot. Windshield wiper again, your knees side to side. Feels a little bit like that foundation of deer pose. Come back through center and we'll roll onto our backs, adding in a back bend together with this pigeon shape. Take an inhale breath, reach your arms to the sky, reach forward and up. Maybe to the sky, it's fine too. Exhale, slowly roll down onto your back. Bring your feet close to your sitting bones and close to your hips so that you can reach down and tickle your heels and that your feet are not any wider than your hips. And we'll start with a floating bridge. On your inhale breath, peel your hips up off the mat. Let the arms come back behind you until the back of the hands touch down. Lift your hips higher. Exhale to lower, and do 4 more like that with your breath. Inhale. Hips lift up, arms lift up, back of the hands down. Exhale to lower. 3 more. Try to go slow the whole wave of your breath. Inhaling to lift, exhaling to lower. And the last one where you lift up, let's hold, keeping the back of the hands pressing down. Slowly come back down. And from here, we'll cross our right ankle over top of our left thigh. And press down into your hands, and your inhale breath, lift your hips up. Maybe you interlace your hands under your lower back, knuckles squeezing toward the front of your mat. Let the right knee drop down. Take a big breath in and a big breath out.
One more. Inhale. And exhale. Release the hands. Slowly lower down. Release that foot. Let's try the other side. Left ankle crosses on top of the right thigh. Hands beside you for support. On your inhale breath, press down into your hands. Lift your hips up. And let your left knee go out to the left. Interlace your hands, maybe opposite grip. Knuckles pulling toward the front of your mat. Chest is open. Few deep breaths here. Keep pressing the hips up. Let the knee drop down. And release your hands. Slowly lower the hips. Release both feet to the mat. Open up your arms in a cactus shape. And again, windshield wiper those knees side to side. Slowly coming back through center. Walk your feet back underneath your knees. And again, this pigeon shape. So across the right ankle over the left thigh. Hug your left knee in toward your chest and pull it more out to the left. You can press the right knee away. Another opening into that right hip, but hopefully you're feeling a lot softer there than maybe when we did a similar shape at the beginning. When we were seated for the deer pose or pigeon pose. And then from here, cactus your right arm out to the right. Let this shape fall over to the left. Hold onto your right ankle and push your right knee away, and you'll feel the stretch into the top of your right hip. It's a hard place to get a stretch, so it feels a little unusual. And if it's too uncomfortable, then you can stack both of your knees together for a more simple twist. Using the support of your hands if you need, bring your knees back up through center. Cactus both your arms. Jog your hips a little bit to the left side. Take your left foot more out to the left and drop this shape over to the right side so you can keep your top foot connected onto the top of your left thigh. If you've been in a twisted variation, just come back, the two knee twist together, come back to the center, and just find the shape maybe with your knees and feet apart rather than stacked, the ankle over the thigh. If you like, turn your gaze away from your knees toward the left side. A couple of deep breaths. Bring your gaze back through center. Take your top foot off of your knee. Bring your hips back through center. Hug your knees in toward your chest. Keep them wide. Reach through and grab the outer edges of your feet with your hands. Happy baby. Feel free to stay here, or you can take that pigeon shape, bringing your left heel in toward your groin, right leg out. Then same thing again. Right heel in toward the groin, left leg out. Back through center, both feet to the mat. Cross your left ankle over your right thigh. Bring your right knee in toward your chest this time. Give yourself a nice squeeze, right knee coming more to the right. Getting that release and softening into the left hip. Then you can cactus your left arm. Slowly drop the shape of your legs over to the right side. Hang on to your left ankle with your right hand. Push your left knee away. Maybe look over your left shoulder. Continuing to breathe and soften into the hips. Of course, you can stack your knees if this is too much for you. Then we'll bring the whole shape back up. Jog your hips a little bit to the right side and then Take this whole shape over to the left, keeping your left ankle on top of the right knee to get into the hip flexor. Right knee pushing down toward the top of your mat, and turn your gaze toward the right. Again, you can stack the knees together if this is too much, knees pointing to the left side. Gaze to the right. And bringing your head back through center. Bring your knees back up using the support of your hands if you need. Bring the knees out wide, happy baby pose again. This time you can take a different option. If you want to bring the left heel in toward the groin, wrap your right hand around the inner edge of your right heel and pull the leg back. And a deeper inner thigh stretch. Maybe the toes come all the way down to the floor. Come back through center, same thing other side. Keep your right heel in toward your groin. Take your left hand on the inner edge of your left heel and push the heel out to the left. And come back into center if you like. Make a little basket underneath the outer edges of your feet. Feet pressing in toward each other, floating Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. You can stay here if you want to release the feet down, finding Supta Baddha Konasana, a little bit of hip release here. And close your knees together. Squeeze your knees into your chest. Give yourself one little extra squeeze, Apanasana. And then releasing your legs up toward the ceiling. Release your arms at the same time and find Viparita Karani, a mild inversion here. We'll have some options for some different inversions. You're welcome to stay in Viparita Karani, so nice. And even move to a wall if you have one close by. Or maybe rotate your wrists and ankles a few times. If you are in Viparita Karani, especially at the wall, something nice you can do is let your legs open. Let the back of your hamstrings press up against the wall if you have that. Another option is to release the feet down and stay in a butterfly pose. This is a nice way to open as well. If you would rather take a different inversion other than Viparita Karani, you can always support your lower back with your hands. Take a plow pose or maybe a shoulder stand. It's not too hard on your neck. Supporting your lower back with your hands. And choose your option of either a variation that has a hip opener or something where you can keep your feet above your hips so that your head is also below your heart. Wherever you decide to be, a few different options there. Take 10 deep breaths. If you are in an inversion like plow pose or shoulder stand, as you make your way out of the pose, take a few moments lying on your back. You have your legs at the wall. You can slowly, after a few breaths, start to transition off of the wall, coming back onto your mat on your back. And we'll take one last hip opener, which will be an upright pigeon or double pigeon, but staying in it for a little bit longer. So you can either hug behind your thighs or roll to your side and make your way up to your seat and roll over onto your hands and knees. Maybe to downward dog, pedal out your heels a couple of times. One last final hip opener here. Lift your right leg up to the right, stack your hip, bend your knee. Do exhale, bring your right shin bone forward and tuck your back toes slide your left knee back. And if you like, roll to your right hip and bring the shin bone more parallel. And then straighten out your left leg. And you can always take that deer pose variation again, bending your left knee in towards your right foot. And then we'll lay down over top of our right shin bone. If you want to go a little deeper in your deer pose, you can twist over to the right side. If you're in this pigeon variation, you can lift your chest up and maybe slide your left arm underneath your right arm. Come into that similar twist that we did beginning of the class, and maybe even find a bind where you wrap your right hand behind your lower back and try to hook it to your left toes. To your right toes, sorry. Right hand to your right toes, which are tucked under your left hip. Whichever variation you've decided, pigeon with or without the twist, or deer pose with or without the twist. Take 10 breaths from here. Last couple of breaths. Slowly you'll start to push yourself up out of either deer pose or pigeon pose back to downward dog or tabletop even. Pedal out your heels. You'll lift your left leg up, stack your hip, bend your knee. And go to the other side, left shin bone forward. Extend your right leg back behind you and roll to your outer left hip. And if you can, bring that shin bone more forward toward the top of your mat. Get a little deeper into that hip if you like. Variations of deer pose. You can come forward over the front shin or give yourself that twist, this time over to the left side. And if you're in pigeon pose and you'd like to take the twist, thread your right arm underneath your left arm, roll to the outer right shoulder. Maybe take your left arm up and around and try to hook it to the outer edge of your right big toe. Sorry, I messed that up again. Left big toe. Kind of similar to what we did at the beginning. And from this place, 10 more deep breaths. You're wrapping energy all around the hips to encourage softening, to encourage release. Take these last few breaths here in this particular pose to let go of any tension or tightness that might be residing in your hips. We hold on to a lot over long periods of time, and it's not easy to let it go. It takes time to let it go and patience. So it might not be today. Slowly and steadily over time, we can encourage ourselves to soften. To soften here on our yoga mat so our reactions in life are softer, our behaviors in life are softer. Last few breaths.
When you're ready to come out of your pigeon pose or your deer pose, push yourself back up, make your way back to downward dog one last time. Slowly lower down onto your shin bones, sit back onto your heels. Bring your hands to your heart center. Before we go into Shavasana, we'll close here with a chant for peace, because I know that the world is yearning for peace, and the more energy for peace that we can send out into the world, the more we find that unity and that connection and that ability to really live in peace. So let's do it together. It's even on my shirt. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And if you like, join or just listen and then make your way into Shavasana, and please stay there for as long as you like. And I thank you in advance for joining me in this practice. Please, let's stay connected and let's live in peace. Deep breath in through your nose. Sigh out your mouth. Please join. Inhale. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May this yoga practice lead us into a life of peace, both on and off our mats. Namaste. Please make your way into Shavasana in any way that you like. Enjoy it for as long as you like. Namaste.